So today is winter solstice 2024, and it's raining like crazy out there. We're supposed to have another maybe bomb cyclone, which means some pretty strong winds. And down the road on the winter solstice, there are people that have a large gathering, build a big bonfire, everybody sits around and does drumming or just drinking or becoming obnoxious, whatever they do. I've never gone. But since a big fire is part of what they do, it brought to mind the time that about 40 years ago when I walked fire. I was looking for a physical metaphor for living life non-fear based. I thought maybe walking fire would be that. So I walked the fire. It was not a big deal. About the worst thing that happened to me was the bottom of my feet. It was like walking on charcoal. The bottom of my feet were all black. And then when I went to bed, the sheets of the bed became all black. But I did it. It was pretty... It's something you can say you did. I don't know. I guess Tony Robbins, there's some guy, Tony Robbins, who's some kind of guru, help people get their mind in order. I think he's pretty much just a promoter. And he takes people's money. So at this firewalk, after I walked the fire, some people did something that I thought was rather interesting and would take a little bit of conquering fear, I think. They picked up these pieces of rebar and stood over in the field and put a little patch of leather right here, because then they would take this thing and put it to their neck right here, but straight out. It'd be straight at you, and you would take the other end and put it to your neck. And then they lunged forward and bent it like this. And it was not hot. It was just picked up out of a field. So I decided that's something that I might want to do. So I got a little patch of leather, and I got the guy and his wife that went to the Firewalk with me, and gave him a little patch of leather and said, let's do this. And the reason you need the little patch of leather is these things, when they make them, they're sheared. Okay, I don't usually edit, but I have to insert this because I forgot to mention it. And it has to do with the rebar, and which this is the actual piece of rebar, 3/8 rebar, that was picked up at a hardware store. And when we started with it, it was straight, and then we bent it with the front of our throats by lunging forward. It wasn't heated, it was just picked up out of the field And I think that's important to the story, that everybody understands that this piece of rebar was just a straight piece of rebar. And then we got into our state of 100% intention and lunged forward and bent it. And they're very sharp. Not like a knife, but I mean enough to cut you. And I don't think right here is really a spot that you want to have a cut. And when you lunge forward, have this go into your throat. So this was not a really, it was only about that big piece of leather. Not shoe leather, just fairly thin leather. And you do this little, seems like a ritual thing, and you get into a state of 100% intention. You get really focused. You put it to your throat right here. The jack put this, and this was straight, by the way. Put this end here to his throat, and then we got into a state of 100% intention, or at least that's what you're supposed to do. And you lunge forward, and you take this thing that's straight, and you bend it like this. It doesn't bend very easy at all. I don't know how that works, but they say it's an energy thing, and you do it with intention, and I don't know how it works. I just know I've done it. And it's kind of been my physical metaphor for living life non-fear-based. And I didn't really need to do that in order to live life non-fear-based, because I don't have a whole lot of fear. I mean, a lot of the things I've done would scare other people. You know, like ag flying is fairly exciting. That's crop dusting. But these people down the road who are going to do the winter solstice celebration, I think it's kind of a pagan thing. I'm not even sure what pagan is. I just know it's not Christian. And I think it's okay that people are non-Christian if you treat people well, other people well. You're okay in my book. So hopefully they won't get too wet down there. Hopefully this bomb cyclone that's supposed to show up won't show up during their little celebration. It's supposed to have major winds, and which we had one, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. Took down trees, you know, big trees, 150-foot fir trees. So hopefully if the storm comes in while they're having this thing going on, they will pick up their drums, because they do drumming, which I have no rhythm, so I can't do drumming. They pick up their drums and go inside or go home and weather the storm. And it'll be another celebration of the winter solstice, and hopefully they all have a good time. So between reminding me of the Firewalk and the bending rebar with my neck, what they're doing down there is fairly tame. I hope they have a good time. See you later.